Greetings. Hey everyone. Hi, Rajee Narinesingh here, transgender activist, author, spiritualist, actress, show host of 2 online shows, and reality TV personality from the reality show Botched on the E! Network. So I'm coming to you from my very humble home here in South Florida, USA. And look, y'all, I'm now a ginger. I'm a ginger. I gotta watch being out in the sun, you know. Let me stop acting silly. So I want to talk today to you about hormones. Well, you know, estrogen and testosterone. And as a multiracial transgender woman of color, I certainly know about both of them on so many different levels. So to give you an example, before I went on female hormones, let's just say as an example, my sex drive was like at the ceiling. Okay. After I started taking the female hormones, it literally came down to about middle of the room, like halfway down from the ceiling. That's when I realized how powerful that estrogen, how powerful the testosterone is. Well, estrogen's powerful in another way, you know, because really, who really has the power, honey? We girls do. Let me stop. So, so how powerful that is. And you know how you hear, like, people will say, oh, girls will say, oh, guys are such dogs, you know, or he's such a dog. You know, that whole thing of like, oh, on the prowl, gotta get it type thing. So I thought about this situation, and boy, I tell you, the situations I found myself in, the adventures of Rajee, okay? Because innocently, I found myself in some situations, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And how did this all happen? So I was recently thinking about this incident. It happened a few years back, and this guy I had been dealing with, I don't deal with him anymore. Since that incident, that turned me off, but you'll understand when I tell you. So it's about 1 a.m. I'm in bed now, settling in, starting to doze off, and the phone rings, and I look and I see it's him. I don't pick it up. I'm like, oh, I'm not in the mood, and I'm already in bed, and so he keeps calling and texting and calling. And you know, guys are like this. You won't hear from a guy for like a month. And then the minute he's ready and he wants you and he's thinking about you and he's got to get a hold of you, he is calling. And then, you know, if you don't pick up, it's like, what? Like, and I've had to tell guys before, like, hello, do you think I just sit here looking at the phone waiting for your call? My God, oh God, I'm getting hot talking about it. So anyway, I finally picked up and he's like putting the bag on. I'm like, well, babes, it's late. You know, I'm in bed already, and I was kind of dozing off, and he's like, please, please, please. So I said, okay, but you got to give me 20 minutes. Because, you know, I had to get up and beautify a little bit, honey. I didn't want to scare him. When he got there, who are you? Let me stop. So anyway, he comes in, he gets there, he comes in. We go to the bedroom, he gets undressed, and, you know, we start to do the do. So all of a sudden, a knock at the door. I look at him and I'm like, who is that? He's like, hold on. I'm thinking, oh my God, his wife, his girlfriend, his baby mama followed him. What the fuck? So he puts on his boxer and he's walking to my door. So I'm walking right behind him, like standing, I'm behind it or ready to shove this door in because I don't know what the hell is behind the door on the other side of the door. So he opens it and I hear this little boy's voice. Daddy, I'm scared. He's like, boy, you better get back to that car. I told you to sit in that car and stay there until I'm finished. And he closes the door and he looks at me. He's like, come on. And I'm like, you really brought your son with you. You really brought your son over here. And he's like, babes, don't worry about it. He's in the car. I'm like, no, that's not cool. Like, you need to go home. We can get together another time. He did not want to hear no for an answer. He wasn't having it. He was hell-bent on getting off. And I mean, I tried. And then I resorted to like, okay, let me get him off. Like, let me hurry up and get him off because then he'll get the monkey off his back and leave, and get his son home. I know what happened. His baby mama or whoever she is, girlfriend, wife, I didn't even know he had that's a whole nother story. But anyway, she was working the night shift and he was in charge of watching the kid. So I think he was about 7 years old or so. So anyway, we go back and we're doing the do. I'm trying to hurry up. And then knock, knock, knock. He jumps up out of the bed. And he doesn't even put his boxers on now. He goes to the door naked. And he's like, boy, didn't I tell you? You stay in the car. Come on in here. And I'm like, oh, dear Lord. He's now brought the child in my house. What the hell is happening here? So he told him, you sit on this sofa and wait until I'm done. I don't want to hear a word out of you. So I was like, in my highest voice possible, I'm like, is he thirsty? Would he like something to drink? Like, because I know if I was a kid in that situation, I would be scared. 7 years old, 8 years old. He's in a strange place. It's dark where I was staying because I was in a little cottage then in the back house and there was all these trees and stuff. It's kind of creepy. And so anyway, he said, no, he's all right. He comes in the room. Now I'm like, okay, let me hurry up. I got to, because he would not take no for an answer. And I'm not going to say his name and put him on blast, but let's just say he could be pretty aggressive, and I didn't want to get into no confrontation. I was a little scared, actually. So anyway, we're in the middle of it. TV lights on. All my other lights were off. And we're in the middle of it, and honey, all of a sudden, Daddy, what are you doing? Oh, and he runs out of my cottage, opens the door, and runs back to the car. And my guy friend, he jumps up and he runs to the door, and then he comes back walking, kind of defeated. And I said to him, see, you need to go home. I told you this from the beginning. I said, dear Lord, that poor boy, the trauma that boy had that night. And so then finally he got it. Like he was finally thinking with this head and not this head. And he got dressed and left. And I'm going to tell you, that turned me off. Like, in a way, it was a turn on in the sense that, God, this guy wanted me that bad. He was that horny that he would bring his son and leave him in the car like that, But then on the flip side, I'm like, what kind of father is he? And that was not cool. So anyway, The Adventures of Rajee Narinesingh. On that note, I just had to share it. It came to mind recently. I was like, oh my God. So I want to wish everyone love, happiness, peace, good health, prosperity, many blessings, and a serendipitous 2021. Bye!